Oh, hey there, sexy. Didn't see you there. Jerking off all alone? Okay, well, welcome to JJDL Week 1. This is going to be our team builder. I'm Brother Yubby. We're going up against Skippy and his, I believe his Steel Surge? Another S in the beginning. I'm sorry I didn't look it up before, but I'm not going to lie. I have everything set up, and I'm afraid that like if I click off one exact thing, it's going to ruin the entire piece of recording. So, spoiler alert, I've already played the match, and we played, recorded, and I recorded my side. I did a live comm, and the audio is probably horrendous, just as this is horrendous. But as I said in the draft analysis, this is going to be us slowly getting better quality. And when I say slowly, I mean we're going to improve like one thing at a time. Maybe by like week 5, I get a microphone that is not just like an earbud that I bought like 5 years ago. So this is going to be a post-com from my opponent's side because my recording absolutely shit the bed. So do with that as you will. I urge you to watch their side first. His audio is much better. He live commed it. It's actually amazing. I've watched the entire thing at least 3 times just to kind of get my own mindset straight as to like how I wanted to post comment. And honestly, love the guy. So we're going to see my team builder here. You see our opponent's team over there on the right. I think it's a fairly threatening team. Obviously, Lander's Eye scares the shit out of me all the time. It is one of my least favorite Pokemon because, or at least, that's actually probably one of my least favorite Pokemon in general to both use and to play against, because to play against, it's super threatening and I have to prepare for everything, and I always prepare for worst case scenarios. But to use it, since I'm preparing for those worst case scenarios, I never end up bringing it, and I'm just terrible with it. Terapagos, I think, is busted. But I think I have an amazing team against it, so I could actually see it not coming. This whole team was built basically with the idea of I expect 1 or 2 hazards to go up in the form of Hisuian Samurott. Terra Kilowattrel is scary in a general sense, but against my specific team, it's not that bad. Terra Azelf is scarier to the specific team that I brought, and Reverum is just a problem to my team. I'm not going to go through my whole draft. I'm just going to go through the things that I brought, specifically because I didn't pull up my draft, and I'm afraid I'm going to get something wrong, and I'm going to get shit for it. So, hey. But, so this whole team is basically designed to not allow Revavroom to set up freely on any one thing except for my dedicated lead, which we will get into, and everything else is able to be handled by the rest of my team, and we are kind of playing towards an Excadrill endgame. So, what is our lead? Our lead is Tickles the Kyurem Black. Kyurem Black, the AV Kyurem Black is ridiculously fat. This thing can tank so many hits, and I can just throw off scale shots, assuming either the hat doesn't come or if the hat is taken care of. And the rest of it is just, it's physical. We're physical, we're adamant. I don't remember exactly what the spread is for. Actually, I do. It is to 2-hit KO a max Fizdef Toxapex with Fusion Bolt. That was the attack. And then I have a ton of bulk. The bulk is to just live anything. Orlando Eye Focus Blast does like 50. It's ridiculous how bulky this thing is. Then we have Your Mom, the Excadrill, because we be drilling your mom expeditiously. We have an air balloon. This is just, in general, a really good check to Revavroom in the event that, say, it comes and is a lead and decides to set up on us. Drill can come in and we can Terra Steel if we want to. This is one of our Terramons, so we're Terra Steel. And we're Protect SD EQ Ironhead. In the event of the Revavroom, we can just EQ it, not a big deal. And this is also an amazing endgame sweeper. We only need dual stab for this entire team, basically. Yeah, Kilo is a problem if it stays unterred, but if it does come, I expect it to be a bit more of a pivoting set, and we can kind of take advantage of that, and should be fair. Kilo's not that big of an issue to the rest of my squad. So we next have we have Frisbee, the Iron Moth. I wanted my Grounded Poison to come against Pex, and I decided on an agility set. This is also a super great initial switch in to Goldango if it decides to come, and we can kind of use it as a pseudo pivot into Kilo and into Terapagos as well. And basically, Fiery Dance, Psychic, and Sludge Wave are kind of all free, and being able to just run Modest while also being an agility set is just really, really nice. Agility is usually pretty free into a Goldango because Goldango is not going to want to stay in on us, and we can get an agility and kind of go through some stuff from there. Boots, just in the event that rocks come, I don't see Terapagos or Pando running rocks, but if they want to, I want to stay. I don't want to get that chip taken on me. Just because, yes, I have a spinner and I am bringing my spinner. You can see it right there. But I'm with Goldango there, I will be hesitant to click spin over Poltergeist. So next, obviously, Bramblegast. Just kind of a standard set. The attack is to guarantee, so if I Terra Ghost, a Poltergeist into Shadow Sneak will KO the Rev-A-Vroom if it is max HP, I believe. So with that, like, I don't want to Terra my Bramblegast here, but if for some reason the Rev-A-Vroom gets out of hand, this is my like last ditch effort. We live a +1 gunk shot always, just with max HP. So fingers crossed. And then we're Boots just to make sure we stay at max HP, and other than that, like, it's nice to come in and not have to worry about spikes, because I do expect like a spike or two to get up, and I'm okay kind of playing with that throughout the match, but I also can get rid of them if push comes to shove. Next, we have our Sand Setter. That is T-Tar. T-Tar is just kind of, it's a smooth rock variant. I'm not like, I want sand. I want a lot of sand. Knockoff body press is just kind of nice. I don't know. This just feels like a very stock standard Tyranitar for me. It's going to tank a ton of special hits. It's a nice little check there for a special Izelf. It can take a Focus Blast if it needs to. It's a really good Terapagos check. That's another good reason to have it here. And just because having Sandstream, we break Terra Shell and we can roar it out if it decides it wants to really set up on us. And that's just kind of leaving in for the last mon that we have, which is Greninja. Sorry, I cropped everything, so I had to kind of move it up. So sorry, there was a little twitch in there. Lastly, we have Greninja. Just a choice specs battle bond set. If we get, I don't ever see us taking full advantage of battle bond here, but I didn't see us clicking anything. I didn't see us clicking extrasensory, and I don't care about the U-turn chip from Protean. So in the event we can get to an end game where Hammerot is down, and we can just freely click Dark Pulse, like, that's the most likely end game, like, just clicking. So in terms of a specs for Ninja, so I'd rather be Battle Bond. So if we pick up a kill, we can just start really hitting things hard. And, well, that's the team. So we're going to go and hop into the match now. I have everything set up there, so this should be fairly seamless, a little black screen. And we're going to hop right into it now. So off rip, I'm going to let it kind of play, turn off my volume there, and we're just going to let this roll. So my dedicated lead is Kieran Black. I'm not afraid of anything on the other side as a lead. The only thing I might switch out of would be Hatterene, but even then, like, I still really value that chip. Just chip in general. Sorry, I had to move off the screen. So I'm a dedicated KB lead, and seeing no Goldango is wild to me. I thought Goldango had a great, I wouldn't say a great matchup, but like, yes, Goldango is bad into drill, but into everything else, it's pretty fucking dirty. So, like, I was kind of expecting that. But we'll see here that we get into a lead. We get into a super advantageous lead. Truthfully, you saw his lead as Lando, which for me is very good. I'm not afraid of a focus last, so I can just kind of stay in. So KB lead as I said, and we get Lando. Also, KB super annoying to get if you don't have the DLC and you don't already have Kirim and a Zekrom in your game. It was just annoying. It was something like I got my Mons in like 30 minutes before this match started, and I saw that I couldn't just get a fused Mon traded over to me and hated it. So we'll see U-turn come out. He'll see that I'm a little bulky from that, but he won't see the extent of how bulky I am. And I'm just clicking Icicle Spear here. Spear's free. Spear's free into the team outside of Hammerot, but I have Fusion Bolt for Hammerot. And what's going to be awesome here is that we end up being able to fake having, whatchamacallit, dice. So we can fake dice here, which is really nice because it definitely scares out the hat. Because another 4 hits might kill it, but 5 hits definitely does. I'm clicking Shadow Claw always here. Not always. I definitely took my time because I was considering whether or not to switch into Excadrill. But I decided not to just because I wanted to keep my balloon in check. Just because with the Lando staying in and clicking U-turn, it screamed Scarf to me. And so that was something I said in my live comm. It's not just like, oh, I know it's Scarf because I see his team. It screams Scarf. Like, you don't click U-turn there unless you're Scarf, because I could very well be a Scarf KB and just click Ice Beam or Ice Spear and take out the Lando, and nobody wants that. Well, I do, but I was never, yeah. Spoiler, I click Shadow Claw here, just because it is my most damaging move. It is close to a guaranteed kill. It's probably a roll. I didn't check given his specific investment, but it's just kind of clean, I should say. And then comes Pex. It's gonna eat this hit. But what it does show me is that it's not super physically bulky, and I did expect a more phys def Pex in prep, so it not being phys def is really nice for me in general. And so here, I don't want to get toxic. I don't want a toxic on my KB. I'd love to just keep it nice and healthy. So here I'm either going into Moth or Drill. I end up going into Drill just to pressure immediately. Yes, Moth does do some pressures a bit, but on a potential surf or anything like that, I just want to stay safe, I should say. Yes, Drill doesn't like coming in on the surf either, but I was just hard predicting toxic here. There's the set he brought was not one I expected. Let me put it that way. Not saying it's bad. Pounce is a fucking great brain, considering the speed control, and it's something I do. Spoiler: late game, I do have to play around. But we go right into Drill. We show our balloon, which is fine. And it's not going to end up getting broken here because T-spikes go up. And this is where I'd say one of my first misplays comes in. I shouldn't have cared about these T-spikes. But I do. And this play ends up working out well for me. And so what I do is I pretty much auto double out into Iron Moth. One Iron Moth, we're really bulky, so we can take a surf. And that's kind of what I was thinking live was if he surfs, who cares? I'm pretty bulky on my Moth. I can threaten with a Psychic, and I get rid of the T-spikes, but T-spikes just go right back up, and I'm still dealing with the same situation. So I probably should have, if I was going to double out, I should have doubled into something like T-Tar. Can definitely tank the hit, and I can get my rocks up, but that's completely in hindsight. In the moment, I make the double. I make the double into a Moth, and we catch the Kilo, which is awesome. Because one, we get rid of the T-spikes, and two, we're threatening the Kilo hard. I don't expect him to stay in, but I have to make the play in the event that he does. He's told me prior to this that he's Terra flying, and I told him that I'm Terra Steel, Terra Ghost. It's Terra Preview, which basically means we send a message to each other, and we take each other's word. But I know he's Terra flying, but I'm not afraid of anything that he could go for. I tank any one hit, and I think it was like a 50% roll for me to OHKO with Sludge Wave, so I'm just clicking Sludge Wave here. I have no reason not to. Yeah, Pex can come in, but with no Go Dango, Sludge Wave is really free, especially with a follow-up Psychic, because I'm not like... I made the play before that I wasn't afraid of Surf, so I might as well hold on to that play now. And we'll see that he ends up going for U-turn, which doesn't tell me anything. And I just basically I take a lot of time in between my turns, and that's just me like making sure I'm making the right play. I'm a showdown player that's just kind of creeping into the Wi-Fi right now, and I like my calcs. I like having my calcs, and I'm a pretty quick player on showdown, but that's because I have everything right there, and I don't have to like input my moves like at the last second. And yeah, that's that story. Pex comes in. I think I click Psychic. I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember exactly what I do. Psychic feels like the right play, because I'm pretty sure I take a Surf here. Because with no Goldango, I don't need the health on my Iron Moth as much, and I kind of... So what this is boiling down to, I built my team with the idea of hyper offense being how I wanted to play this. I wanted to have a fast-paced game. This Toxapex was the biggest anti-hero. And by that I mean I hated it. The antagonist. He was the antagonist. She was the antagonist of my hyper offense. It tanked so many hits that I was just not happy with it. But we Spadef dropped the Psychic, which means we have a pretty free click. But I don't think there was any shot of him staying in anyway, so I don't think... So the Spadef drop, I don't think mattered in terms of the ensuing play. I think his best play at the end of this is always switching out into something. They end up choosing the Hammerot. My play is always to just click Sludge Wave. Funny enough. With or without the Spadef drop. With the Spadef drop, I was not killing with the Sludge Wave anyway, so I end up clicking it. It used AV as shit, which fine. I was always switching out here anyway. I would always fear Jet or Sucker, which both probably killed me. I don't know about Sucker. Jet probably did. And even if like it comes in, so thought process would be Hammerot comes in on this. If it doesn't show AV, I assume Scarf. Assuming Scarf, I switch into what I end up making the switch into, which is Gren. I make a Gren pivot because he's not clicking a fighting move here, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't have much for the Hammerot, and this is when I kind of realized it. So right now I'm taking a long time because my thought process is I go into Greninja and I'm clicking U-turn. I'm not Protean, and I'm not doing a lot of damage. So what do? I just start having to take hits, and which is scary because I don't want to have to take a Ceaseless or a Razor Shell or anything from this with the rest of my team. My team does not like this thing, and like the best I really could do would be to go into KB, but I don't want to bring in KB on a fighting move. So right now I'm just contemplating, like I know I'm clicking U-turn, but I'm contemplating just what do I go into this like on a U-turn because it's gonna go for a fighting move. I don't know, it's not fighting move. I'm assuming it's fighting move. Like I got KB, I got Gren, I got T-Tar, I got Drill. Like fighting move is really good into me. So what do I switch out into? But he hard switches. He hard switches into Pex, which is beautiful because now I don't have to deal with that hammer up being in on me, and I can get in anything else. Right now, I end up making the slow play, uh, and I go into Bramble. Going into Bramble just allows me to get rid of the spike, and it allows me to get a speed boost. I'm not like super threatening anything with the speed boost, but it's still nice. Uh, yeah, and I'm just threatening getting rid of the hazard. Truthfully, I expect them to want to take advantage of my like a passive spin play. I know I'm saying this all before fucking Bramble comes out, but here he comes. There he is. He is Cinnamon. Uh, and that might be his future nickname. Week 3 and on, that might be Brambleghast's nickname. Okay. Long story short, I'm expecting them to want to make an aggressive switch into a rapid spin. And I don't know exactly who that's into, but I want to make sure that I am still applying pressure. I'm okay with the spike being up. My team is kind of built to whatever is needing to take hits without the spike, or with the needing to take hits without the spike up, has boots, being fucking Bramble. And the thing that scared me most isn't even there. So I'm going for Poltergeist. Um, which, I mean, it does a chong. It actually does a good amount of this thing because it's not FizzDef, it's SpDef. And so I'm just kind of like, okay, that does a good amount. I'm actually considering clicking the Terra button here because Terra Ghost Poltergeist is probably doing a little over 50, which could be really scary. But it just kind of leaves me vulnerable to Terapagos, and I'm not looking to be that vulnerable to Terapagos. And so here I just click spin. If he's willing to let this Pex stay in and let me spin, then I'm fine with that. And here he shows Pounce. And this is when I get excited because that means it doesn't have Toxic. He's shown me all 4 moves. He's shown me Surf, T-Spikes, Recover, and now Pounce. And Pounce, yes, is an amazing bring just in order to like maintain speed control because he is dual Scarf, and maintaining speed control into Drill and potentially a little Insane Slash is really, really nice. But not having Toxic is really tough. And now it kind of clicks where I want to start forcing this Toxapex into clicking Recover. Either Recover or switch out. It's like right now, I'm threatening just a little too much, and it's probably feeling forced to recover. Also, not showing Toxic or not having Toxic means the KB always comes in on this. Ridiculously free. So I think that's my immediate switch in right now is KB, because on we tank a Pounce, we tank a Surf, we get in before T-Spikes go up, and if they recover, we're threatening with a Fusion Bolt. And that's why we go hard KB. KB is now always a free switch into this. It's just a little too passive for a Dragon type, truthfully. No shade. But we're just hard clicking Fusion Bolt here. It's basically a pick one because Fusion Bolt comes off and there's one immunity, which is Lando. If Lando comes in, we're back into the lead matchup again, and I'm just clicking Icicle Spear. And if you want to play around and just try to whittle me down with U-turn ship, like, fine. I'll let that happen. And I'm never clicking Skill Shot into Hat. I don't care about my speed just yet. And, like, we'll see the Fusion Bolt damage. And because, yeah, I thought it was a free click. With Terravolt, I think its ability is Terravolt. Kilo isn't a free switch. We do a huge chunk. We do over 50 to it, even if it's semi-bulky. If it's super bulky, like, we don't. But at that same point, if Kilo came in, we're not scared because we are ridiculously chonky with AV. Like, we tank hits. Nothing does more than like 20. Um, I'm amazed at how bulky this thing is, and we'll see some damage coming up semi soon. Um, but here, technically speaking, I think this was my second misplay. Uh, I do think I should have just clicked Fusion Bolt again, but I clicked Icicle Spear. There's no real downside. You will see that he ends up staying in and we pick up the first kill. But in the event of Pex coming back in, I think Fusion Bolt was the best play. This was basically me trying to catch them overplaying and going into Lando on a second Fusion Bolt, but there's no reason for him to have done that. He's seen me switch up moves, it doesn't matter. But that is like a nice little like semi-misplay that I had. And I'm pointing these up because I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to like point out any minor misplay that I have and just kind of force myself to learn, force myself to get better from it. Tropicos comes in, and truthfully, KB is not afraid of this thing. It does not do much to me. And I don't, I go through Terror Shell with Terror Vault. So I'm just free to click, I click Scale Shot because one, hat's gone down. And Scale Shot means that, so this thing could outspeed me. I'm not max speed. I don't have a ton of speed whatsoever. But at +1, I start outspeeding things. And I would outspeed this thing if it was at +1. We get a crit on the first one. And this is where, like, I'll spoil a little bit. This is where the luck gets in my favor just a little bit. It definitely changed the differential of the match. But I think endgame wise, it was pretty okay. I did kind of run the math after. With 2 hits there, plus the crit, plus everything that you'll see after this, I do think we came out in a very similar position, assuming average rolls. But again, at this point, I got the damage. Then I saw that I was faster than it already, and I saw how bulky it was. Like, it's like max Fizdef. Here, we get super fortunate, and we end up racking up 5 spear hits without dice, which is ridiculous. And what is he doing? He got 4 before and 5 after, and you see that +1 Aura Sphere does like 25%. That was a +1 super effective Aura Sphere coming off of Terapagos. And it did nothing. That's when I realized how bulky this thing was. Like, yeah, it was bulky in prep, but like, oh my gosh. And now I'm at the point, since I just racked up 5 hits with a spear, I go for like just permanent damage. I didn't want to like low roll 2, or like 2 and 2 would have gotten it, but Fusion Bolt had a roll to kill, so I decided I would just go for that roll. If I got it, I didn't. If I got it, I got it. If I didn't, I click Scale Shot here and I get to +2, which is also a really good position to be in. Another play that I probably should have thought of was to just always go for Scale Shot, because we then just become ridiculously fast, and any of the Scarfers, like a Scarf Lando, wouldn't be able to outspeed me. Granted, I think at +2, a Scarf Lando didn't outspeed me. I'm pretty sure I had that calc, but a Scarf kill a watch roll would outspeed me. I believe my Excadrill and my Karam and my KB were the same speed stats, or very similar at least. And Drill at the same time, Drill in the sand, Drill always outsped Scarf Lando, and always outsped Modest Scarf Kilo, but not Timid, I believe. We were Adamant. I wanted the extra damage from Adamant, and the extra damage from Adamant meant that Terra Steel unboosted did a ton to Lando, especially after, like, I believe it was after Rocks. It was almost an OHKO. Here, the PEX comes in, and we're just clicking Fusion Bolt. I'll jump ahead a little bit. By that I mean I'll talk through it. We're clicking Fusion Bolt because it's just very free. I ran the calcs at -2. Pounce didn't kill me, and Surf did like 6%. So we're clicking Fusion Bolt. We do a ton. We end up doing like 66% to this thing, so it's now in range of another one. So guess what we're clicking? That's right, Fusion Bolt. Here, I wouldn't say misplay, but I do think Scale Shot could have been another really good play. Because Scale Shot to get back to +2 and potentially threaten a Scarf Kilo. Honestly, looking back on it, it definitely was not the play because I would have stayed in. This is all in hindsight, and I'm like jumping ahead one turn because I know how these next sequence of plays kind of go out. But I'm just clicking Fusion Bolt. The only like downside is if Lando comes in. Lando comes in, then I'm basically sacking my KB to this. But yeah, we click Fusion Bolt. We go through Volt Absorb if it had it, and do a good chunk. And now basically it's screaming Scarf. I'm +1. At +1, I outspeed non-Scarf. He wouldn't bring it in if it wasn't Scarf. So right now I'm thinking about my end game. I take my time with this next play, and I kind of plan out the end game that I think is most likely. So right now I'm expecting U-turn. So I'm thinking if I go hard T-Tar on a U-turn, and they bring in anything that's not PAX to like threaten me out. So say like Lando, and then I go into KB, I sack off KB, and I get in my Air Balloon Drill. And Air Balloon Drill then cleans up the game with max sand turns. But he clicks Terra Blast and throws a slight wrench in my plans. So what do? He didn't do what I expected. How dare he? So how do we recover? Well, we have a lot of health on a lot of mons in the back, and we're sitting really pretty, so I'm not super scared. But Lando is Lando, and Lando is scary. So right now, we're getting a Brox. The only thing, like, Lando could come in, but I can knock it off. Like, right now, we're threatening hard with knockoff or rock move. Rock move actually is super scary right now for him, but I'm clicking Stealth Rocks. Why am I clicking Stealth Rocks? I'm clicking Stealth Rocks because I'm afraid of Landorus. Landorus can click Earth Power through my team if my air balloon on drill is broken. So, with rocks up, I can guarantee that with 2 switch-ins to rocks, a Terra Steel Iron Head from drill in the sand will always pick up the kill. And that's kind of what I'm going for there. Here, I don't want drill to switch in hard on this and take a pounce or a surf. So I want to force it to feel, I want to force him to feel like he has to click recover, which means I'm clicking knockoff here and then going hard drill. The downside to that play is if he decides to, like, backs up against the wall, can't click recover, can't be passive, then I'm like hurting a little bit. And by that I mean my drill tanks a hit. Pounce would actually be annoying, and I'd just end up clicking anything. I'd click a move, but I'd only be at +1 speed, not +2. And yeah, so we knock, we try to force a next turn recover or a switch out, both of which are I'm more than happy with. And then, so now we're forcing either recover or switch out. If they attack, amazing play. I think I'd end up like playing around it a little bit. Um, in the end, like Brambleghast does still have sneak, so sneak into Ironhead or Terra Steel Ironhead will always take out the Lando. So in the end, I'm not like hard threatening that, but we go hard drill, and now we're threatening. Um, and right now, I'm wondering, well, do I set up a Swords Dance or do I Earthquake? I end up deciding that I'm clicking Earthquake because I think that this Toxapex is too passive and he's going to let it go and he's going to try to punish my Swords Dance by clicking either Pounce or Surf and breaking my air balloon and being able to go into anything else. Now, my real misplay here, because I think that Earthquake was the right play. As you see that he switches out into Kilo. My real misplay here was clicking the Terra button. I was looking at his team and just thinking about it and being like, do I need the defensive ground type at all? Or am I just like being weak to the two water types for no reason? And I clicked the button. Kind of forgetting that by clicking the button, I now have to take a Thunderbolt from a Scarf Kilo, and it lives on 6. Also, it took rocks, so definitely Scarf. So now, I just fingers cross and say, so I have two options. I could click Protect. Protect would be arguably the better play, but we don't make good plays over here, if you can't tell. We click the Swords Dance button, and we let the Sandstorm take out this Kilo, and we go for game. And now the astute of you might be praying for a para, but we get these. Pants stay brown because we don't wipe. And we get the Sword Dance off. Sandstorm takes out the Kilo. And now we're sitting super pretty. We take a guaranteed 2 kills. And the reason I say 2 kills instead of sweep is because the astute of you may have realized that I haven't been counting sand turns, and there's only 2 turns of sand left. And to be fair, my opponent also wasn't counting sand turns, and probably just assumed that I was a good player, and failed to realize that I'm an idiot, and goes into Lando. Lando is honestly his last chance. Kind of needed this thing in order to potentially sweep through my team. Like, genuinely speaking, it could have taken like 2 or 3 at the end here, just for me to position into drill again to take it out with the sand up. But at +2, our Ironhead just nukes through it. Like, we're max attack adamant. This did like 135% min. So we take that out, and now the 2 things in the back are slower than my drill anyway. I should say that I believe Hammerot isn't always, but I have a lot of speed, and it showed to be really bulky, so I was just assuming that I was faster. But we're +2. Pex comes in, and we're Earthquake. We are now Earthquake till the cows come home. Hammerot can't do much to me. Like, Hammerot, at this point, the game is won. With Orlando down, the game is won. And it's just a matter of, like, do we 6-0 or not? At this point in the live comm, I thought that I had already sacked Kyurem, because in my initial plan, I had sacked Kyurem in order to get Drill in, but I kind of had forgotten that I had hard swapped Drill in. But sand goes away, and I just I didn't shit my pants a little bit, but like, damn, was I close. And I was just like, we click EQ. We get these. He's not max speed. And we just kind of take it. And I was right. He wasn't max speed. So our bad plays were not, we didn't, bad plays are rewarded here. It's good to be bad. So that was week 1. I apologize for this being post-com. Uh, week 2 will also be post-com, but it will be from my side at least. So, like I said, baby improvements. Thank you for joining me, and I'm sorry that like the quality of this video isn't up to even the base standard that I wanted, and I hope that the audio ended up working out well. Um, Truthfully speaking, it's late, and I'm just gonna edit what I can and go from there. Shout out Kieran Black for being fucking fat as fuck. And shout out to Drill to just being awesome. Like, don't sleep on Terra Drill. I know man's on fraud watch, uh, but he's showing up. He showed up week 1, so let's see how week 2 can go. I hope you can all continue to join me on this journey and continue to maybe even support me a little bit. Uh, just you don't need to like it, you don't need to subscribe, you don't need to comment, but just being here, thank you. Especially if you've made it this far. So I really do genuinely like thank you, and it means a lot to me. So I hope to see you all again next week, and I hope you all can join me as we steadily improve not just in play, but also in production. Uh, so thank you very much, and have a great day, and I'll see you all next week. Bye bye.